What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Top Figure podcast. We're excited to have you guys back again. Wanted to take some time today just to say thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for all the feedback and all the dope stuff you guys been doing. Now, we were trying to get to top 100 business podcasts in America, and we can't get there without your help. So if you want to take a screenshot of this episode, share on your story, tag us, we'll repost you. That'll be highly appreciated. Leave a review on all platforms. That'll be also highly appreciated. And we have a special guest today, man. Today is going to be a fun episode. We're going to talk about so many different things, but mainly real estate. So if you are a real estate fan, you are in for a treat today. So we're really excited. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce Jado. And this brother here has done so many incredible things, and we're honored to have him here today. And we're going to really talk about, his whole entire story, not just real estate. How did he got started? What amazing things he's done here in the Twin Cities, and so much amazing things. So Jado, welcome, man. Excited to have you.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So let's get right into it, right? For the few people that don't know who you are and what you do, who is Jado? Let's start from there.
Sure. I mean, I currently, I involved a few different things, but my main gig, I'd say, is real estate.
Okay.
I have a broker called Realtor Group, but I have my team called the Elite Agency that I started a couple years ago. I currently have 21 agents under me as well. Mm-hmm. Very diverse. I specifically built my team to be a very diverse team. I also own an edible arrangement downtown. Okay. There's 7 different. It's a franchise, so there's 7 different stores in Minnesota. I own the one downtown Minneapolis. I do a lot of consultation for clubs and nightclubs. Mm-hmm. I'm currently helping the guys that I sold them Delano's Pizzas. Delano's Pizza on right across from Luce, and then just kind of control overhead, hiring, training, all that stuff. So
wow,
a little bit of everything.
Okay, dope. So you got a lot going on right now, right?
Yes, sir.
So when you were first starting, let's really dig deep. Let's go before all the success you have now, all the amazing things you got going on for now. Where did you first start? Was it in Minnesota? Was it somewhere else? And what was the reasoning behind, entrepreneurship rather than taking the normal route, rather than just, getting a job and just sticking with it? But you pursued your dreams. You said, hey, let me take this risk. And it was a big risk, and it paid off,
Absolutely. I mean, I was born in Lebanon, over in the Middle East. I moved here when I was 14 years old. I kind of wanted to do high school here. Mm-hmm. And, I was in Lebanon is a very strict school. You basically go to school from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. and you go home, eat, and you have to study for the next 5-6 hours. So it's just very overwhelming. The educational system is much harder. So when I came here for high school, I felt like I was kind of hanging out, right? Plus the good thing that I came from a very difficult type of learning is that everything I was taking in high school had already taken in middle school. So, educationally it was easy for me. I was, passing. And I've spoken English, so I speak 3 languages. Arabic is my first, French is my second because I went to a French school in Lebanon, and then third was English. But I used to come and go a lot to Minnesota. I have my uncles lived here. Okay. So, I spoke decent English. So it wasn't that hard for me to learn the language when I fully moved here. Okay. Finished high school, went to college here, and then right out of college, I got an opportunity as an investor to open a club. Okay. A very good friend of mine, his name was Song. He used to be a GM at a club downtown called Escape Ultra Lounge. It was a block key. Yeah. I mean, that was the first club that offered bottle service in Minnesota.
Wow. So it was a whole new thing here in Minnesota.
Yeah, nobody knew.
What year was this?
This was 2004, 2005.
2005.
Yeah.
Wow,
so, a while ago. So, and then, he ended up getting fired. Song did, the GM. And he reached out to me. He says, hey, I want to open my own spot. Would you be willing to help me financially? So, I approached my older brother, who's, kind of really smart when it comes to businesses as well. He thought it was the dumbest idea I've ever came to him with. He's like, no, I don't really know liquor. We don't know the business. I said, you got to look at the business plan because me and Song have been working on it. So, presented it. We start working on it. The numbers made a lot of sense. Halfway through, the project, Song was over my house. We were ordering coolers, right, for behind the bars. He went home and I got a call from his fiance an hour later, said that he collapsed and had a heart attack. He was jogging, healthy, 36-year-old. went to the hospital. He was in coma for like a week, and then his brain was almost 100% dead. So his family ended up pulling the plug. So very difficult time because we were. I mean, I get goosebumps every time I still talk about this. But
sorry about that.
No, it's all good. I mean, it's emotional because he was a good friend of mine as well. So, but I was in a situation where we're halfway through this project. Okay. Do I stop? Kind of take an L and move on, or do I keep going and kind of push? Because that was his dream. So I reached out to his best friend. His name is Lucas. I knew of him. I didn't really know him, but he's the one that taught Song the business. So I said, hey, I need you to come help me keep this going. He says, I can't. I'm retired. I said, you got to do this for Song. Like, don't do it for me. Give me a year. Like, you can just get me up and going, teach me the business, and I'll take it from here. So he agreed. He come on board, helped us for the first year. I learned everything from him, basically. And at first, Aqua was called Aqua Friday and Saturday. Okay. Sunday, I would call it Shy Sundays. Literally, our menus were Shy Sundays. Our logo goes down, goes up, Shy.
Wow, so you were actually exchanging logos.
Literally.
Okay.
I made a separate club because that was Song's initial. Was Song Ho Yu was his name. Right. So I kind of out of respect for him, I wanted to dedicate a night. So we ended up doing it for a few years, and then it created a lot of confusion. So I ended up just going back to Aqua eventually on Sundays. Okay. Just people were just confused with two different clubs with the same address and name. So but I did it for a while, and we just out of respect and love for him, and then it took off. We even when our economy technically crashed in 09, 8, 9 because of real estate. We struggled. We went through a phase where we had to, kind of do everything ourselves. We couldn't really hire people, but we got over the hump and we took off after that. So, and then I purchased Elixir after that, which is currently Monarch.
Monarch.
Yep. Yeah. So, bought it, named it Elixir. Was like a lounge. It did very well for us as well. Then I sold it to a good friend of mine named G, who actually used to work with me as well.
Okay.
G ended up, operating. He called it Spade at the time.
Spade.
And then Spades. And then he sold it to Emir. So and they named it Monarch. And then I bought the Final Music Cafe. I want to do more like a concert venue. So and then I bought.
You were just buying the whole city up.
I had 4 clubs at one point on the same block.
Wow.
Right? It was called. We called it the venue, and we did mostly like just hip hop Friday and Saturday. That's the venue when I had Lil Wayne, and have you guys heard of the Lil Wayne situation?
Yeah,
so I'll go into Lil situation. I had a concert for Lil Wayne, and he showed up, and that's when he was on tour, right? So
what year is this exactly?
What year?
Yeah,
that was 2016, maybe.
16. Yeah. Okay, so it was a prime social media year. Yep. Snapchat taking off.
Exactly. Okay. So and there was a lot of beef between Lil Wayne and Birdman, and Lil Wayne Party Bus just got shot like a week before, not even.
Wow.
So he shows up. I have a sold out room, and then it was him, his female friend, his assistant, and then 2 bodyguards. And I said, hey guys, I have to search the bodyguards because we can't, just with the beef going on, right. We had to be safe. And Lil Wayne says nobody's touching anyone. I'm like, obviously nobody's gonna touch you or the females that are with you, but we have to, search the guys
for procedure.
We can't allow any guns in the. And I had fully staffed, had cops in and out. Like I've done what I had to do. And he says if they're gonna get searched, we're leaving.
Yeah. I said they did end up getting searched.
Nope, they ended up caught back and left. So I had to refund everybody their money.
Wow.
And we took a big hit on social media. Like people just thought we should have just let it go. And looking back at it, would probably do the same thing because I'm always looking at longevity of the business at just one time. If things weren't as bad, because even like the city of Minneapolis were calling us like, look, you guys got to be really careful with the show. We're getting calls like there's a lot of and there's a lot of also Minnesota and Chicago. There's a lot of beef between certain parties. So they get calls too with
just warning
them, we're gonna show up and pop things. So they were putting a lot of pressure on us, and I'm like, do I risk it and for a one-time event or longevity? So anyways, we end up not having a show, and then we took a big hit. I mean,
and Lil Wayne was on fire this time.
Yeah, I mean he was, and I'm one of Lil Wayne's biggest fans. I had actually bought him a skateboard and painted it as the flyer of the event. Like
Wow.
I couldn't wait to hand it to him, right?
Wow.
And I still have it.
Memories.
so,
Lil Wayne, if you're
yeah,
watching this, he
yeah.
still got that.
For sure. And then we did another show with Maestro. I wasn't really involved. I was just helping him because I had the connection with Target Center with Lil Wayne, and it was Jeezy. It was a bunch of people, and Lil Wayne didn't show up either. So that was like my last straw with Lil Wayne. You know,
I think I remember that one, the G-Eazy one. It was lit. That was a crazy show.
So, so you know, we took a big hit. It was called Live on
Sundays.
Live on Sundays,
Yeah, I
right?
remember
So
that.
that's what we called the club. It was called the venue, but our Saturday night was called Live on Sunday.
Sunday.
So and then our business went down. Like after the Lil Wayne, we got so much negative.
Wow. In the city.
Social media, yeah. I mean, we got ripped apart. But so, and then I reached out to a friend of mine named Ninja, which is to me is probably the biggest figure in Minnesota when it comes to the hip hop community, and just people just love him and respect him, and his name is very solid, and he has a great following. So I brought him as a promoter, and he literally picked my night back up. So
Wow.
and then I sold it to Hamza and Nabil.
Nabil, yeah,
which is, you know, they ended up calling it.
Is it not Gold Room?
No, they currently have Gold Room.
Privé?
Privé,
yeah.
yeah.
I
So,
remember Privé.
you know, that was their first club. You
Okay.
know, so sold it to them. Loved those guys. Really
Yeah.
good, genuine, good kids. So, and then they end up moving it to Gold Room.
Gold Room. Yeah.
So, and then, you know, Aqua ended up selling it in 2018.
Okay, 2018.
Yep. To a good friend of mine. Her name is Freedom.
Okay.
I'm still friends with her and her kids. Great family. And then they had a shooting.
Yeah.
They had a show, and then 3 people got shot. And like I tell people, like
It's part of the game.
Yeah, it wasn't anything on the owners. Like they did what they had to do. If stuff happens, like this could have happened on my clock, right? It just unfortunately happened on theirs. So you know they end up just shutting down.
Yeah.
And I end up selling the Fire Line to First Avenue. So First Avenue currently owns the Fire Line, and I just end up stepping out of the business completely.
Okay.
I'd gotten married in 2014, had my first child.
Okay.
So it's kind of really hard to build a family around, you know, being up till 5, 6 in the morning. I think my firstborn literally thought I was her mom's roommate. So I would come home and sleep and get up and leave. Like that was my pride and joy. That was my first child. Like, and like she wouldn't come to me at one point. I didn't spend much time with her. So it was kind of me it was most likely like a wake up call. Like figure your stuff out. And so I hopped into real estate. And I just wanted to get into a business that I can utilize the network that I've built owning the clubs.
The clubs.
Right.
And going into just before we get into the real estate part, so you at one point you owned 4 different clubs on the same block.
Yep.
Like,
and then the mansion in Uptown.
and then the mansion in Uptown. So like, what was that like? Because there's some people that, you know, they want to get into the nightlife, they want to get into, you know, starting a bar or a club. Like you had 4, so like that's 4 times the stress. So like, how are you managing that? How are you going about, you know, running that? Like
for sure. I mean, you gotta. I don't ever advise anybody to own 4 clubs at the same time. I think part of the reason I was successful is because I was hands on. Like I was there. I was first one to be there, last one to leave. I'd literally go from one club to club and close because there's a lot of cash, you know, so you can easily get robbed. So, and I would literally close one, go to the second, and force. So, but the key is to hire people you really trust.
That's the
because
big
you
thing.
can't be in 4 places at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. So you need somebody there to be physically, you know, running the show and you know just make sure everything's going smoothly. And you know, like literally, I had Aqua, Elixir, Fireline, and the venue going at the same time, and they're all different concepts. Like I didn't compete with myself. You know, Aqua was basically mainstream. Like Friday was my Latin night, Saturday was my Asian night, Sunday was my hip hop night.
Different
right?
crowds,
Right.
different people.
Different crowds.
Exactly. Elixir was more of a lounge. You know, like food. You know, kind of chill out spot. Fireline was all live music.
live music
Right.
concerts.
Yep. And then venue was basically was a hip hop club.
Hip hop club.
Right. So,
Okay.
that's what I spend the most time. That's my type of music. Right. So, but again, all different concepts, and they all worked.
Yeah.
And it was like mainly all because in that business is a lot of cash.
Yep.
So like there has to be like a lot of trust, and there has
Correct.
to be a lot
You
of
have
like,
to trust the employees in general. I mean, in that business, they'll either make you or break you, right? But I've had a great loyal staff that I've built over the years. Like my first few years at Aqua, I had a lot of turnover.
Talk about that because that's really amazing because business is all people.
people.
At the
Yeah,
end of
it's
the day.
people skills.
Trust, loyalty, and like these things and like the tough decisions you had to make.
Yeah.
Really like what is it like as a founder, knowing like as a business owner, you having to make a decision, like having to step away, having to make sure that you follow procedure, what the amount of like risk that you have to undertake.
Correct.
It's a lot of
It is.
and that's huge. No, like I just talk really about that.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest challenge in this business
Mm-hmm.
is actually having, because you want to hire experienced people, right?
Yep.
Because they know what you're doing. They but the problem is those are the people that know how to F the system.
Yeah.
Right. So you got to hire experienced people that you trust. Like I've had to fire a lot of people, and mainly because when you hire a bartender, that's very fast because we were packed. So you want to. Bartenders are serving drinks, and then you don't know what they ring and what they put in their tip bucket. We put in there, so especially with cash, it's almost impossible. Let's just say I serve you a $10 drink, but I ring it as $1 bottle of water, and then put $9 in my tip bucket. It's if you're not sitting there watching the screen what she's drinking, it's almost impossible to know.
Wow, I didn't even think about it like that. That
I
is
mean,
true.
even like to me, you pour a drink like. That's stealing. Like if you overpour, right? So you got to make sure that they're serving the right, because that's all profit out of your pocket. And then I mean, also the biggest challenge is hiring staff that's gonna bring clients in.
Yeah.
Right? Like till this day, I go to bars and restaurant. I either know the owner, or I need to know the front door guy, or even know the server or the bartender. Like I'm pretty sure you guys do the same thing.
100%,
Like you feel comfortable going somewhere you know somebody, right?
Exactly.
And then that's how I got my nickname. I know Jado.
I know
Just
Jado.
right?
Where did this name came from?
I'll tell you. Actually, it's a couple of stories. I'll tell you where it really originated from. But I made people feel like I really knew them. Right. Like just calling somebody by their first name as an owner goes a long way. Right. And then be like, yo, let's go to Aqua. I know Jado. Right. Like. They show up, and I literally took care of everyone. That's how I built my brand. I genuinely wanted people to come, have a good time, and just let them skip the line. Goes like they feel like they just got the deal of their life.
The deal of their life.
Right?
So like, what was the balance between? Because when some of your friends they expect like free this, discounts this, but then you have other people that wants to pay full price.
Yeah.
At what point does the business side come in, or the friendship? The balance between that.
I've always told my friends. You come to my places, I'll take care of you. But when it comes to like, don't ask me for a discount. I'll take you to the club on my day off or dinner. I'll pay for everything, right? When it comes to my business, please treat it as my business.
That's
right. So it's not about the actual amount of money. It's about, like you said, it's going to be hard to charge one person one thing, charge the other. Now I've given people discounts, obviously, but it wasn't to me was I don't try to maximize what I can make per client. I look into give him a discount. And, if I give him $50 discount off a bottle, he's probably going to buy 2 more. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm making more long. So, and that's the problem that people don't do in this business. They just look like I'm not gonna do a discount because I want the most money out of this bottle. But you just have to really look longevity. Right. Go ahead.
That's big. No, I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's really big. Like especially we preach all the time in longevity in business. Too often people look at short-term money, like quick gains, like, hey, I'm going to make money on the front end. But the real money you make is on the back end. Like when we start off on our journey of building businesses for other people, doing website design, digital marketing for a lot of clients, we would give them the game and give them the value of like, hey, this is how you build this, this, and this. That would build our credibility, trust, and they would come back and say, hey, can you build this for me? Can you actually help me? And that's what you were doing with people. You were actually showing, taking a relationship, looking at it for what it is, and then building that and saying, okay, hey, this is how you you didn't let people walk over you. You let people, and that's really awesome. That's really really dope. That's what it attests to how you're at to this level.
Correct.
And let's go into real estate. That's how that transition happened.
Correct.
From the business, because you took the experiences, the businesses that you've built, and how did that transition into real estate, into what it's at today?
It was the reputation for me.
Yeah.
I think part of the reasons I became successful in real estate, outside of actually having a big network, is that I've always treated people with respect and love. I've never taken a dollar from a person. I've always done the other way around. I've given people, and the reputation is what helped me, right? Especially in this small town of Minneapolis, and
100%.
like just the Twin Cities. Everybody knows
Everybody knows everybody.
right? So that's how I built the trust. And success attracts success, right? Like, and it's about, a lot of it is about perception, especially in real estate. Like, you were talking about my office. It's, on the 49th of the IDS. It's one of the best views you can have in Minnesota. When people walk in, the first thing you usually think, oh, he must be really good in order to be able to afford this office. And they think, well, if he's successful, working with him will put me in a successful position. Right? So that's what happens. Success, basically attracts success. And, I'm not fooling people, right? Like, I know what I'm doing. I'm really good at what I do. But it's a tool that I use to attract business as well.
That's smart. That's smart. So going into real estate, like, what does it take to become, with TikTok and Instagram, you see everybody, they're taking the real estate test, they're becoming real estate agents. Like, what does it really take to become a successful real estate agent? Because you're in the top 5%. You got that award. Just congratulations on that. That's really big,
Thank you.
For an upcoming real estate agent, someone that just got in the game right now, like, what are some key advice of like actionable things that they could take from this podcast right now and go apply to where they'll see like some results from?
Sure. I always advise people to get into real estate. It's one of the best business to be involved in, just because you don't take a lot of investment to make the kind of money you make, right? Like most businesses, if you want to make $10,000 check, right, which is that's what I average per transaction. You have to invest a lot of money in it. Now, I mean, I invest in my marketing, stuff like that, but new agents don't need to do, I do it because I can afford it, because I do have, deals coming in. I can justify spending marketing and, leads, stuff like that. So, but in order to get to that point, you have to struggle first, right? Which is, I did. I was rookie of the year the first year I got into business, and I still didn't think I did that great, right? So the first 2 years are very challenging just because people don't trust you yet.
Yeah.
Right? Like, first, a lot of people, everybody knows a realtor. Like, there's more realtors currently than there's houses on the market.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not exaggerating. There's really more realtors than there are houses on the market. Right?
Wow.
So, but also that's why it's important to choose the right realtor, because with really high demand and low inventory, it takes a really good realtor to finesse getting your offer accepted, right? But just going back to like new agents, what motivates them or what advice I would give them, get into real estate. It costs $800 to get your license.
Okay.
It's a 3-week class, 90 hours total, so 30 hours a week. After the first 30 hours, you can take the test. So there's 2 tests, the national and the state. Right? So after you first take the first 30 hours, you can take both tests.
Okay.
I always tell people, finish the first 30 and take the test, because the only thing on the test is the first 30 hours.
First 30 hours.
So don't take the other 60. You're going to get a bunch of information and, more knowledge, and you're just going to confuse them, and then on the test.
Okay.
So take the first 30 hours, go take the test right away, and then finish the other 60.
60.
Yeah,
Okay.
and, the other 60, they're stuff you learn on the field more than anything else. So, and then always I tell people, social media till this day is the most underused tool.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, I use it enough, and I still feel like I don't use it enough.
Right? Yeah.
So you got to market yourself, but take the first step, take the class. Once you're invested, even $800, you feel like you want to do it. Only 10% of agents a year make it as a new agent.
Wow.
So out of 100, only 10 make it.
So it's a low.
It's very low. But it doesn't mean you got to be, one of the 90%. Right?
Yeah.
So I've built the elite agency. Specifically, I went after new agents.
New agents. Okay.
I've, handpicked everybody as part of my team. I've turned people out. I've turned people down that wanted to join my team that I thought it wasn't a good fit. I wanted to teach these agents what worked for me, because I know it worked, because I did it.
You did it. Okay.
So, and that's what I've been trying to teach them, and they're all like young, good agents, and they listen. New agents listen. Older agents, like, they're stuck in their ways, and they don't want to listen. They just feel like they got to figure it out.
They think they got the bus signs, the bus chair logos.
Older market.
The signs.
Exactly. I mean, things are changing. We live in, different times. What worked, 5 years ago doesn't even work now.
So talk about some tips that you would recommend, like as far as like a new agent leveraging social media, because you have a massive platform.
Because I think everybody right now knows someone that wants to buy a house. Like, at least a few people in your contacts are looking, and people buy from people they know. Like if you're my friend and I know you just became a new real estate agent, I'm more than likely gonna go with you rather than just John that I don't have a relationship with.
Exactly. And I always tell people, like, the SOI is the most important tool you can generate leads from, which is sphere of influence, right? Like, with your own circle, like your own network. Like you said, even if you don't know somebody, you know somebody that knows somebody. And I tell people, you have be annoying on social media.
Yes.
Because it takes a lot for people to remember that you do real estate. Like I had one of my closest friends the first year use another agent because he forgot I'm into real estate.
Wow.
Like literally one of my closest friends. So, and I take that shit personal. Like
Out of sight, out of mind.
yeah, exactly. So you gotta constantly put every day. You can't be boring. Like you have to start put stuff that doesn't show like you're trying, but attracts people. Post stuff that get people to ask questions.
That is big.
And then I tell people like post on your Facebook because I use 3 platforms.
Okay.
Mainly, I've used other more, but there's Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
TikTok. Okay.
I tell people Facebook is where you generate your business. Instagram is where you show it off,
Okay.
and TikTok is where you have fun with it.
Yeah.
Right. But and that's the truth. Like I do get some leads from Instagram, but most of my leads come from Facebook.
Facebook. Okay.
And when I ever want to post something, I'll go to Instagram first. Right. Like it's just what we're used to. Just people, I feel like they're more intact with Instagram. But like if you want to find a plumber, first thing you do is you go on Facebook, say
Facebook.
looking for a plumber.
Plumber,
You don't usually
local.
post that on Instagram.
Yeah.
Right? So, and I tell people, that's where you get the business where you show it off. And I wanted to build my brand first on TikTok before start using it to market my business. And now, like in the last year, after I hit 500,000 followers, when I felt like, okay, now I can start pushing my real estate business. First, I wanted to build, the following.
The following.
Right? Because not everybody enjoys real estate. I have followings from Thailand and, Brazil, right? So, but the majority are from the U.S.
U.S.
So, and they're all across. I mean, I have 18-year-old girls and 7-year-old, grandmas that follow me. So,
yeah.
and
that's
across the board, right?
And that's the power of like social media that people don't understand. It's literally this account that you have represents who you are. And you are, let's say you get 1,000 views, which people don't think is a lot. Think about if you were in front of a room with 1,000 people
Yep, exactly.
looking at you.
Yep.
Like you're on the spotlight. And that's the power of social media. You're literally one video away from a whole different life. Like one video goes viral, you get 300 leads coming in. You
Absolutely.
close 10% of that.
100%.
So that's super, super important for real estate agents.
I want to get into before you get in, I would love to ask you the question of how do you be memorable with 500,000 followers? How do you really grab people's attention right away? What is some tip that you could share with people to grab their attention that help them out?
You got to figure out your algorithm, right? Because TikTok is the only platform that you can become a celebrity overnight.
Yeah.
The only one.
Literally.
Like the one that video had to go 21 million, the one that you're talking about the water.
Yeah.
I posted it. I remember it was like the day after Valentine's, like February 15th. And I woke up the next day, I had like extra 200,000 followers. And it was like at 15 million views.
Wow.
Right? Like instantly. Like I've had followers, right? I mean, but that video took me to another level. And that's where I built actual true fan base. Like when I don't, like, if I don't post my daughter, I was like, well, how come you haven't posted Rita? Like, we want to see your daughter.
Yeah.
And then also, like, there's certain videos that I post doesn't get a lot of views, right? There's certain videos that I post that I know is going to hit. And just because I figured out my algorithm, like kind of what my clients want to see. Like, real estate has been okay with TikTok. It hasn't been as great as I want it to be, right? So the algorithm, my followers don't enjoy real estate like they enjoy my comedy, like they enjoy, the videos I do with my daughter. Right?
Exactly.
So I got to stick to it, right? So I got to keep building it. And then, everybody's different. Depends on what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
All I was trying to achieve is build enough clientele so I can start using it for my business. And that's when I just started doing it. And you see a lot of videos that I post on TikTok and Facebook because I don't have a lot of people that actually know that follow me on TikTok. Majority of the people I don't know them. I'd say out of the 500,000, I probably know 500 of them.
And I noticed like too, especially like with a certain type of content, like let's say I do like a funnier video, more views. And then I realized there's like a balance with TikTok, like where you have to do like this something called edutainment, where you are educating people on what you do and you're also entertaining them at the same time.
Correct.
And that does a lot more better.
Correct.
And like I realized like if you do a funny comedy skit or video, takes off 100,000, 200,000 views. If I do something like educational, 1,000 views.
But can I tell you why? Let me tell you why. I don't want to get political, right? TikTok is a Chinese app.
100%,
right?
yeah.
And if you look at the For You page
Of China
and here, completely different.
100%.
When you put educational in the States, China don't want us to be educated. They don't want it. They want us to think that
funny
this
videos,
dance and funny is what's going to make you popular and funny.
Yes.
Or like, right? They don't want you to follow the education. I've literally looked into it. The For You page on China is 99% educational, right?
Wow.
And they do that on purpose. Like, China hates us, and we hate that. Like,
Yeah.
it's all about politically. So,
100%.
and they're smart. Like, they're far smarter than us.
Yep.
You know, especially when it comes to government. So they know what they're doing. You know, so I mean, Trump was trying to block TikTok for that specific reason, right? So, but again, that's, you know, to answer your question, that's why here educational stuff doesn't really blow up.
100%.
Right? I guarantee you, the dances in China are not popular.
They're not popular.
Right? So
They're actually like demoted on the TikTok algorithm. That's crazy that you say that.
Yeah.
It's like that mix between that. We're having to like really mix education with like entertainment at the same time to gather attention.
Correct.
It's crazy.
It's super important. All right, so let's go in a little bit deeper into the elite agency, right? You recruit new agents and you look for new agents that are just starting. Like right now, how big is the team?
21.
21 people, right? And how long ago did you guys start?
A year ago.
A year ago. So you have 21 agents. So like how does that work, right? When they work with you, do you give them leads or do they bring leads themselves? Or like how often should a real estate agent go after somebody before the deal closes? Like what's your procedure and your SOP for that?
I mean, with newer agents, there's a lot more work because you basically have to teach them A to Z, right? Even before you send them a lead, you want to make sure that they know what they're gonna do with the lead, right? So what I do is, first thing is, I have a leadership team. I have 6 people, part of my leadership at the elite, and then I have 21 agents. So our leadership team, everybody has a certain role. My role is basically recruiting, right? I don't have time to. I'm extremely busy personally to have time to spend a lot of one-on-ones, but I still at least give one agent at least an hour a week. Okay. Right. So, and then we have somebody that does a lot of like the training, the one-on-ones that you teach them the business, and like it's a lot of work that I signed up for. But again, I'm looking at longevity. Like if I teach these agents what to do it correctly, do the business ethically, and do it the right way, we're all going to be successful. But you know, that's the problem with newer agents, though, that they don't have the net. I mean, they could have the network, but people don't trust them yet, right? So that's the value of a team. You say, hey, yeah, I'm a new agent, but I have 20 agents behind me that you be getting, all of them that have been years in the business and have millions of dollars in sales. Like, you know, we know what we're doing. So, and I provide them with tools. Like they have folders that they go and meet with people with. All their marketing, we take care of all, like, you know, photos, flyers, business cards, you know, all the websites. You know, we do every week we have a meeting that is educational. Every week I have a speaker or host. Wow. So one week I have, you know, the broker that comes in and meet with us that, you know, trains on all the what's new that week. Another week we have a gentleman named Michael Brennan. He owns the Minnesota School of Realty, where you go take your class to become, he owns that and he's the instructor. So he knows the business better than anyone else. So he's a good friend of mine. He comes and gives us usually 3 hours a month, educational. And then, you know, another week we have, you know, loan officer comes in, you know, tell them how the bank works, insurance, like, you know, home warranty. So every week we have somebody, or sometimes 2 a week, that come in and, you know, educate them and teach them on what's new in the business. And that's what new agents need. They need knowledge. You need knowledge. And then we spend a lot of one-on-ones with them. And then we start dumping leads where we know they're comfortable enough to go ahead and start working on deals. And a lot of people don't understand like how much back end work that has to be done before you make your first sale, you know? So like you got to fall in love with the process of actually enjoying being a real estate agent, enjoying calling the leads, you know, following up the leads. I think it usually takes the first deal. Once you get a check for that much money you probably never gotten as a new agent in one lump sum, and you probably work 30 days to get that, that makes them want to go harder than they've ever been. Because I mean, I don't want to go on record saying this, but we don't deserve the money we make. Like, honestly, like, compared to the amount of work that you put in,
everybody gonna be running being agents now.
I mean, but I mean, I'm being truthful. There's deals, believe me. There's deals that I've had to take a vacation after I closed. That made me like literally want to.
Could we break down some of the numbers for like an average deal and like locally? So some people get an idea of what's going on.
Sure.
People are motivated by the money.
Yeah,
of course. So let's just do lower end, $300,000 home, right? Because I mean, most of the people, what they make yearly, they land between $300 to $350 a home.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
So let's just look at 300,000.
300,000.
This is on
Even
the lower end.
A lower end,
right?
yeah.
Lower end, guys.
For a lot higher than that.
Yeah.
For sure, especially in this market. With
Right now it's
inflation
so that means you get paid more based on the.
Absolutely. The
Oh,
more
that's
they pay, the
crazy.
more they make because you make commission. Our commission usually is about 2.7% a deal.
2.7%. Yeah.
So 2.7 of 300 is almost $8,000.
$8,000.
right?
Yep.
And out of that, you have probably about $500 in cost.
Okay.
So you walk away with $7,500 on a very lower end deal, right? If you go up to 400, you're looking at a little bit over 10K.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
So, which is again, that's the majority. Even the houses are listed at 350 are going for 400. Right. So I would say the leases you're making right now is 10K a check.
10K a check. Right. Wow. And that on average would take somebody 2 months, 3 months, sometimes
It
even
usually takes about 30 to 45 days.
30 to 45 days.
Yep. If they're,
Wow. And what if you're hungry, like super hungry? You see someone do it quicker?
It depends on the bank. So
Okay.
the problem is when they have financing, they have to get the appraisal, and that's what usually takes longer.
Yeah.
Is for the bank to send the appraisal to appraise the home. Usually 3 weeks is the fastest I've seen. Now, if you pay cash, you can close in like a week.
A week.
Right, because there's no appraisal, there's no bank. You just wire the money, you get the deal done. You just have to pull the title work to make sure there's nothing wrong with the house.
Wow.
Right. So, but majority of now we're seeing a lot of cash deals because how crazy the market is.
The market is.
I put an offer on a house in Afton, Minnesota. It was listed at $750. We were on offer at $825 cash.
Cash.
We didn't even get it.
Someone came in.
Sold for $900. Really sold for $150. That's the kind of market we're seeing.
Yep.
Wow.
We're on offer on a house in Maple Grove. Was it $489? Wrote it for $580, so 91 over.
Yep.
We weren't even top 5.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is
Hold
the
on.
market. It's a
So
seller's-
like, do you recommend someone to buy a house right now or wait it out?
I mean, right now always buyers ask me like, what do you think this house is worth?
Yeah.
And I'm telling them the house is currently worth what you're willing to pay for it. Like that's what the market that we're seeing. Now, again, I don't want to say I'm the greatest agent in the world, but I've developed a lot of good strategies to get my offers accepted. And I currently have a lot of deals pending that have been accepted, and I had to finesse the shit out of them to get them done. Right?
Wow.
There's different strategies. I'll tell you one strategy. It's a long story. I'm going to make it quick.
Now take your time. We're soaking in the
Okay,
game.
perfect. So there was a house in Lake Elmo. A friend of mine called me, was like, yo, I need this house. Like, you got to do it. I want this house. Because it's right next door to his parents' house, and he had a kid. His mom and dad helped with the kids. So it was listed at $725. I called the agent. The agent had to be in my brokerage.
Okay.
Right? Which just makes it easier because legally you can share more info if it's a dual agency. So he was like, I have a couple other offers, and you got to come a little higher than asking. So over $725.
Okay.
So we were at $730. And then I included an escalation clause, which is a lot of people don't even know about it, which is you're willing to go $1,000 above the highest offer.
The highest offer. Yeah.
But then you got to cap it. Like you put, up to $750.
Okay.
Right? So we wrote $730 escalation up to $750. And then I called the agent, like, look, if that's not good enough, let me know. Right? Like, if you let me know, I can make you look like a rock star because to your seller, you'll get more. Right? So, and the highest and best was due Monday. So noon comes around. He doesn't call me. I'm like, what's going on? So I call my broker because, like I said, he's under the same brokerage.
Okay.
I said, Mike, you need to call this kid. He needs to call me. I need this house. This has to happen. So Mike hangs up. Dude calls me like 3 minutes later. So Mike must have called him. He said, yeah, sorry, we're with another offer. And I said, no, the fuck you didn't. So, can I cuss?
No, you're good. Yeah, you're good.
This is all.
So, okay. And he's like, I'm like, did you call the other agent, tell him that he got the offer? He's like, no, that's my next phone call. I said, no, your next phone call is back to your seller, and you're going to tell him to make me an offer. He was like, what do you mean? I'm like, tell him to tell me what he wants my buyer to pay. Forget you have 4 other offers. Forget the offer that won. Call him and tell him to give me a number. He says, you sure? I said, I'm sure. Like, I want
You
my
need this
client,
house.
I know what my clients can afford to buy. He's giving me that number. I'm not going to share it with you, but I'm telling you, tell your client to call me back. Calls me, was like 772. I said, done. I'll send you an amendment. He was like, you don't want to call your seller? I'm like, done. I know what my seller wants to pay. I'll have an amendment with you in 30 seconds. send them an amendment for 772 and close on the house right away. So again, like a lot of people don't even know. You can. I shouldn't be giving my secrets away, but
He's giving game. This is topic of podcast. We give game. Let's go.
I know how to win offers, but and my client till this day, is very thankful because now this house is worth 900. I just sent them and that was like a year and a half ago. So
even if you're about to lose the offer and you went above and beyond and said, hey.
But that's like, you know how many agents would have just stopped?
Absolutely. Like 100% of the agents would have stopped.
They would have just stopped.
When you get a phone call, you lost, there's nothing you can do, but there's another offer. And I'm like, that's why I asked him, have you told the other? It was like, even if you told him, it's still not binding. You have to send him the actually executed agreement.
Right.
So he hadn't even told him yet. So, I think probably they probably had it like 760. He probably got another 12K. But my client was willing to go to 800. Like we only want to volunteer and give him 800. I'm like, look, you're gonna look
give
like
me an offer.
Imagine, you're calling yourself like, give them the number that you want and they'll take it, right? So you just gave him more money. So now you look like the best seller's agent to your client. So let's and then I look like a rock star because I got my client the house that he wants. So you gotta finesse, you gotta work with agents. I had an offer in Richfield just this past weekend, and again, I had to finesse the whole situation. I called the agent like 17 different times. I was at my cabin up north, and I barely had service. I had to literally go walk around and call him. I'm not kidding. The guy probably would have not accepted my offers because he didn't want to talk to me anymore. But I literally had to come up with 10 different strategies to get, and I got the offer accepted. And it was even less than their highest offer by 1,000, but still and it's just, you gotta really fight for your clients, like 100%. And I feel like that's kind of what makes me different because I take shit personal, like, and not in a good way, right? Because like I want my clients to win. I want to put them in a position, especially if a client tell you this is the house that I want.
You take it personal.
Absolutely, like there's a lot of pressure. But now, of course, I've been in a situation when a client told me this is the house I want, and I've did everything I can, it still wasn't good enough. There's certain situations where you just can't. Like they're capped to a certain number, and sometimes you're gonna have to go over, and you just can't. So, but if there's a way to make it happen,
you figure it out. But then the good thing about that is that brings a lot of referrals because like if someone figures out like, yo, Jado got that done for me, they're like, who's that? I gotta go to him. Give me his card. Sure. Like, how much referral business has that brought for you going above and beyond and like being relentless?
Man, I have a friend of mine. His name is Tariq. I've sold him a house. He's sent me 9 referrals.
Wow.
9 different clients I've already closed that he sent me. Right, and every client that I've sold a house to has at least sent me 1 referral. I just did the numbers beginning of last year.
Wow.
Like 2022. I looked in January. Every client I've sold a house has at least sent me 1. Yeah, which is, that
means you did a great job with them.
Absolutely, because those people that they sent you, they're gonna send you 1
more.
Right? So
exactly.
So, and I'm referring to people that I've worked with. Referral. I'm not talking about the referral of the referral.
Oh, okay.
But again, so eventually they will refer you to somebody. So,
and new agents really don't focus on sometimes the importance of the little things for your clients, making sure that you figure it out under, like, you just figure it out, you get your hands dirty. You have to do what you have to do, and that makes you look good because like you figured out a way that another agent probably couldn't. They probably were too shy to, like, you picked up the call, you said, yo, I need this, like, you gotta give me an offer.
And that's, I even, like, when he says we accepted the offer, that my reaction was, I said, the fuck you didn't. Like, that's what I literally said. I'm not saying, like, this is exactly the conversation went. And, I was so upset because I thought we had an agreement. Like, especially we're under the same broker. You should give me, that respect. Like, you could call me and tell me you're not winning the offer, give me a better offer. But I don't want to give him a better offer. I wanted the deal to happen. That's when I asked him to make me an offer.
Wow.
Right? So, again, there's, like, for my listings, I have a different strategy. Everybody nowadays puts highest and best, right? When you put highest and best due by noon, everybody has to give their best offer, and they pick their best offer and go with it, right? What I do with my listings, I don't say highest and best. I say all offers due by noon, right? When you do that, I can counter. And, because when you say highest and best, that means you can't basically counter. You're just going to pick the highest and best. But when I put a deadline, you're basically doing the same thing. You have a deadline to turn in the best offer you have, but then I can basically counter and make the best offer even better.
It's a psychology thing.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, like people don't even do that. Like, I still check. I'm like, I wonder if everybody's gonna do what I do.
Right.
And it's literally everybody highest and best, which is fine. Like I want to be different. I want to be unique. But that's all the strategy that I teach my agents to also use. I don't just keep to myself. But again, you gotta
figure it out. But you know what's crazy? Even people that are listening to advice, 97% of them aren't gonna do it.
Yeah, for sure.
The secrets are still safe with you.
Absolutely.
That's the thing I realized.
I hope they do it because it makes everybody better, right? But again, you gotta. I mean, that's kind of what I felt. Kind of took me to another level. Also, I think part of my success is I've represented a lot of. I don't want to say high-end clientele, but a lot of figures in Minnesota. Like my first listing ever in real estate was Ricky Rubio's condo in North Loop in Minneapolis.
Wow.
And he played for the Timberwolves. And then so I sold, that was literally my first listing.
Okay.
And that gave me like Star Tribune, reviews, was a bunch of I got a lot of actually media attention.
Okay.
Different articles, Minneapolis St. Paul Journal. And then, when Ricky got traded back, I sold him sold him 2 houses. Wow. And then he sent me Juancho Hernan Gomez, who I sold him a house next to him, who actually I'm currently renting to another Timberwolves player.
Wow.
Then I ended up selling, both Ricky's house when he moved back. I'm currently working with another Timberwolves player, asked to stay, confidential. So I can't say his name, but he just signed, an extension recently. So
that's amazing.
Yeah. So I built that brand, and it makes other people like, if the Timberwolves players are using him, I want to use them. Use them. So,
and it doesn't cost anybody else more to use you than
buyers. So sellers always pay both agents.
Okay.
The sellers pay the seller agent and the buyer's agent.
Buyer's agent.
If you're buying a house and you hire me, you'll never have to pay me anything.
Oh.
Right? So
I didn't know that.
Only the sellers would have to pay both.
Okay.
Right? And when I just parked here to get in this podcast, I got a DM from, I don't know who the gentleman is. He says, "Hey, my sister's looking to buy a house, but what's the lowest? She has a very low budget. I don't want to waste your time. Would you even do like $200,000 a home?" I said, "Bro, I'll sell a $50,000 lot. Like I don't have that. Even though I do like
big deals,
luxury multi-million-dollar deals. I'll take anything. I don't have that character. Like, oh, I don't do that.
It's too low for you. Don't do that.
And I, there's some things that I would refer to my agents, but I personally would take any deal. If I have the capacity to do it, I would. And if I don't personally I'll have somebody close to me who will handle it.
Wow. That's super, super important.
You know what's crazy? As you were talking about that, you literally took the I know Jado model of like how you were helping people throughout the whole process, and that went all the way in your business. That's how you've been longevity and been kicking in this game. And man, you got to commend you for that, because not a lot of people really do what it takes to actually hold their reputation, build credibility, build trust within their community, and that's amazing. So you guys have to really commend Jado for that. That's
I appreciate it. You just honestly, like, here's what I tell people, like, especially my 2 kids. You got to be a good person. Like, I don't care if you're Christian, Muslim, Jew, Buddhist. Religion to me is being a good person. And how you're a good person is how you treat others. Like, you have to be genuine. You have to actually mean well. You have to get rid of every bad intention you have. And believe me, like, karma is real. Like, 100%. You will be rewarded. A lot of religions feel like, you'll have the afterlife and you go to heaven. Yes, maybe. I believe in the afterlife, but you also, in this life that you're living, you will be blessed. But you have to, nobody's perfect. I've done some fucked up shit in my life, but you got to repent. You got to move on, and God judges your heart and your intentions more than 100%. Your actions, right? So you just got to deal with life, and like, I don't fake being nice to people. Like, I didn't build the brand I know Jado because I wanted people like this. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy meeting other people. Like, that's one of the biggest fights with my wife is she thinks I'm too friendly with everyone, right? Not just women, like everyone, right? But like, I'm telling that's my character. That's the way I am. And it's paid off for me, right? 100%. So you just got to be genuine. Like, I've sat down here, like, I didn't know you guys prior, but when you reached out to me, you seem genuine. You seem like, you got, and I love supporting local youth and entrepreneurship. I believe entrepreneurship is the only way to go. Like, I was on a podcast recently and I told these guys, like, I've been teaching my kids how to own their business and build their credit. And my kid is 6-year-old.
Wow.
Then I have another 3-year-old. But my 6-year-old, she's very like into it. Like she's very smart, very listens. But the problem in this country is, and I love America. Like I
land of opportunity.
My whole I wouldn't be anywhere close if I was anywhere else. Like this is the only country in the world that you can be successful just by not being lazy and not being dumb. Like I tell people, there's 2 reasons why you shouldn't be successful in this country. You're either dumb or lazy. I don't mean that in a bad way. Like not everybody. Like I'm talking about, you should just you should get up and do it, and you can. So, but just the problem here is they teach you to go to a good school so you can get accepted by a good college, so you can get a good job, right?
And that is not
right. They don't teach you how important credit is in school. They don't teach you how
financial literacy.
How to file your taxes, put money aside. They don't teach you what it takes to actually open a business, which is it's a lot easier than getting a good job, right? Like you take a bigger risk, but the reward is a lot bigger. So you have to teach the youth is open your own business, take the risk. Nothing good comes easy, right? And overall, like people, unfortunately, we still live in a day where people judge you based on your worth, right? But with social media, speaking about social media, a lot of people don't have what they show that they have, right? Like, let me just ask you a question, right? If I made $2 million last year, and you made $200,000, who has more money?
You have more money.
How?
But
if I made $2 million and I spent $2 million, you made 200 and spent 50, who has more money in the account?
I have more money,
right? Like that's what people don't understand. Like you could
I
make a lot of money, right?
That is
like,
a really good. That is very true.
So you make a lot of money, but
you're just breaking even if you're spending all your money.
That's what people do.
I just heard the larger number,
right? And I mean, I worded it that way. But again,
true.
like, how do you know I have more money than you? Right? You don't know what I've spent, and that's the problem.
It's what
with
you
people.
keep at the end of the day that really,
especially nowadays, it's easy to make money. Like,
absolutely,
you have these kids, streaming and going trading online, making $1 million behind a computer. Right?
Everything
is way different. Just avenues to make money these days. But people get stuck in showing that they have it, that they spend it. That's true. Right? Yeah. Like I bust my ass every day to make sure my kids and their kids will never have to worry about working a day in their life. Not that I don't want them to work. I just want them to. I want to build a life for them where they just do what they do and enjoy it and not have to worry about it. That's my goal in life. That's why I work. Literally, nothing else matters to me. I want to make sure my wife, my 2 kids, and their kids are set for life.
Okay.
Generational wealth.
Generational wealth. See, you mentioned that. I want to kind of get into that too, because that's something important you really mentioned that I like there. And a lot of people have different mindsets about that. So, like, you are working to give, like, your kids money, make sure they're good. But a lot of people that are first generation, they earn money themselves. They're like, no, I'm gonna spend all the money myself, and like my kids are not gonna get any of the money. I gotta spend it before I die or stuff like that. Like, what's your advice about that? Like, what do you think about that?
Everybody's, depends on what they want out of life. I'm the type of person I want to take care of my family. Is it wrong to, maybe it's going to change their character where they don't feel like they need to work? I'm never going to make them feel like they need to work. Like my wife, for example. She doesn't need to work. I do pretty good for myself, right? And I've always told her, the only thing I'd ever want from you is if I need your help at work, come help me. Like, for example, edible arrangements. Our Valentine's Day is our Super Bowl. It's the craziest day of the year. She pops in, she checks in, but like, I don't need her to work, right? I don't care. If she wants to work, she can go ahead and work. I don't mind it, right? But for my kids, I've trained them on how to build their credit, how to open their own business. I want them to open their own business and make their own money. But I'm gonna take care of them if they do that or not.
If they do that, right?
I want to make sure. Like I said, that's what I want out of life. I know a lot of my friends says I will not give my kid $1. If they don't work, and they're probably not gonna know the value of money. Maybe that's true or not, but I'm gonna raise my kids where they know the value.
They know the value,
and then they know that their dad
got them.
But I got him 100% in every aspect. Safety, mentally, spiritually, financially. What is my goal in life? Like,
to leave a legacy.
Exactly, and be successful. I'm not gonna take shit with me. Right? What am I gonna do with it? And there's nothing that I want to spend that I don't spend on. Right now, of course, I control my spendings. I don't go crazy. There's things that I could afford that I don't usually buy, but that doesn't mean I'm not living a happy life. Because I realized, as a club owner, I thought I had it all.
Yeah.
I had the women, the money, the cars, the lifestyle. I walk in and I don't even have to pay for a tab anywhere I go because I take care of people. And then I get married and have a kid. I'm like, this is true happiness.
This is
That's
true
what I
happiness.
enjoy. Like, literally, I can't wait to get home because the first thing I do is my 2 kids run to me. And to me, that's the most joy I've ever experienced in my life. And that might sound cliche to you guys. And believe me, you won't know it until you have your own kids.
100%.
But again, to answer your question, everybody's different. Right? Everybody has a different mentality in how to raise a family. I want to make sure that my kids can do whatever the fuck they want, and they don't have to ever worry about a thing. Bills are paid. They're vacationing. Cars,
college is
whatever
good.
makes them
Everything
happy.
is good.
And I promise you, they're never. I'm gonna make sure that they don't feel like this is just handed to them.
Yeah.
Right? I want them to know that it's there if they need it, but they don't have to count on it. Right. But I mean.
That's dope.
That's
And
just
like you'll tell them like, the dope thing the thing that I really like is like, telling them, hey, start a business. I'm investing in it. I'm gonna start the business for you. Like you have to work on it a little bit. That it should be the way to go about it, because then you're investing in them while investing in the business. The business could blow up, it could go crazy. And then that would also make them feel like they've earned it too, because it's their business. Obviously you invested in it, but the thing is teaching them values of like, what is business, what is credit, how to build a business, what is team members, what is all these skills that you're building now, and teaching them that is really going to help them thrive.
Absolutely.
So I really like that. So going into edible arrangements, so how did that come about? Let's go into that, because that is a whole different business, from nightclub to real estate to like now you've proven you can manage multiple different businesses and different ventures, and you're not in a box of, oh, he was just a nightclub owner, oh, he's just a real estate agent. Now you went into the edible arrangements, which was something totally different. So like there's no excuses anymore. You've done it all. Now you could, any business you get into, you know how to make it thrive. So you have a system to make businesses work. You're a great businessman, right? Because all businesses take kind of the same thing. It's about the team. What is the product? Is the marketing good, in these things? So let's get into edible arrangements. I've seen them on TV. I remember like watching edible arrangements so long ago. It was the flowers. So like all that stuff. What made you buy into that?
I had a meeting with a gentleman named Chris. He owns Parallel Valet. And I had a meeting with him because
shout out to Chris. He was on the podcast.
Oh, he was? I love Chris. He's a good friend of mine.
Amazing guy.
Very smart, very hardworking kid. But after our meeting, he sent me an edible arrangement. I'm like, and I've seen it, but I've never received one. I've never sent one. So I'm like, this is actually a great idea, because I thought it was really nice. It was very nice gesture that he made. And then so I had that in mind. I'm like, I kind of want to own something like this. And then it goes well with my real estate, like closings, like clients. Right? So and it sticks with people because it's flowers, but you can eat it, right? So people actually enjoy it more than just having flowers in there and then look at it. So and then going through COVID, I realized that there's a lot of business that thrived and a lot of business that went out of business. So I don't want to have my eggs all in one basket, So especially like my consultation business kind of stalled because bars and restaurants were closed. Real estate was still good, but a lot of people were just concerned, so they took a step back when first COVID. So I wanted to get into another business that is COVID proof. And edible, I just start looking. Edible was one of the businesses that really skyrocketed.
Really,
right? Okay. So and then I found that the one downtown, which is literally right outside my office. So there was 2 that went on the market in Maple Grove and Plymouth, and I was literally at the closing table, and they came up with another $25,000 machine that they were supposed to cover. Now they want me to pay for, which is the slush machine. I said that wasn't part of the deal, and it wasn't about the 25 grand. The fact that
it's
you
the
waited
principle.
for me the last day to actually tell me I'm responsible for it. So I walked out of. I'm like, I don't want it. So and I kept wanting to look, and then the Minneapolis one came out, which was perfect. It's literally, I can walk through the Skyway. It's a 2-minute walk for me from the Skyway. I mean, in the summer, it's like 30-second walk because I get out and go in the building, right? And it's a great business. So there's 7 stores.
In Minneapolis, right? Or Minnesota, the whole Minnesota.
Yeah.
Okay.
Minneapolis, I'm the only store.
Oh, wow. So no competition.
No competition, And the thing how edible arrangement works is like per zip codes. So when people put an online order, it goes to the closest one. So it's great because I get all the downtown businesses. Because they send a lot of people gifts. So it's one of the best locations to have.
Yeah.
And I inherited a great staff that, kind of does all the day-to-day stuff. I'm there every day. I oversee everything. I handle the paperwork, stuff like that. But the actual work, I got a great staff that does it, that I came with the store. At first, I remember the first day, the old seller was worried that they're not going to stick around because she has a great relationship with them. And I'm closer to them. I'm already closer to them than she's ever been.
Wow.
And
I know Jado.
In the first meeting, I said, hey, I'm giving everybody $1 raise starting today, right? So that kind of helped maybe, they knew I wasn't trying to, I'm actually more generous than she was because they've been on the same rate for like 5 years and never got a raise.
Wow.
So, but again, it's how you treat people.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, people don't quit jobs, people quit bosses. Right? Like
that's a bar.
For you to go and actually get a job, you probably enjoy it enough to actually go apply and want to do it. The only time you actually feel like you leave is because not you don't like the job anymore, but you hate your boss.
Your boss.
Right. So I try to create and again, that's what comes with loyalty, right? Like my staff takes stuff personal because they love me, right? They love the relationship because they want to make sure that the store is thriving, and you build that with relationships with your staff.
Exactly. So like, what is it like owning like a franchise business? How does that work? Like, let's say someone wants to get into owning a Jimmy John's or owning some form of franchise business. I know that's a whole different model. How does something like that work?
Usually you have to take a class, right? Like I had to go to Atlanta for 10 days, take this it's called the Edible Arrangement College.
Okay.
They basically teach you everything about the business and how to own it and run it. And, so it's just time consuming. I literally had to be there in LA for 10 days. And it was a class, even Saturday, Sunday, from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Right? I mean, you learn a lot, but, that's everybody, like McDonald's, they do the same thing, called the McDonald's schools, right?
Yeah.
So it's a good, this is my first franchise, so it's kind of newer to me, but they take a bigger fee, right? Like I look at what I pay in per diem, like that just sucks, right? But also they do a lot of the marketing for you, so they basically do the kind of the groundwork.
So you don't do no marketing?
I do my own store marketing. Yeah.
Okay.
But they do a lot of their own marketing as well.
Okay.
So, which just helps. Like the billboards that you see, we technically pay for it. Every store pitches
through the fee, right? Yep. Through the franchise fee.
Exactly. But they cover it. So. But I do feel like sometimes like my hands are tied, right? Like I want to DoorDash it and I can't. Right? Like I'm like, why not? Like if I can throw it, DoorDash is big or Uber Eats, they don't allow you. So you do feel like you're handcuffed for certain things. But
so you guys have your own delivery cars, like your own edible arrangement cars. Did you have to buy that separately, or that came with the?
No, this store didn't come. I had to buy one. So like the 2 stores I was buying before, they all had one truck each.
One truck each.
This one didn't. So
but it was the principle that made you leave the table. No, that makes sense.
There's 7 stores. The other 6 are owned by women. I'm the only male owner.
Wow.
And it's a fun business. I don't want to sound sexist, but like to me, it could be done by either men or women, right? Like I got into it because I looked at it as a business opportunity more than just a fun business to be in. But I think for most women, it's a fun business to be owned and be there, and because I feel like they're more creative than we are. Right?
Way more,
and
creative.
That business takes a lot of creativity. So
and like does that probably like helps because you have your real estate agency, so sometimes when a client you're trying to convince a agent, you're trying to convince a closing person, you can just send them some edible.
And I do that all the time. And my cost on it is pretty low. Like what probably $100 bouquet probably cost me $20, right? So I can afford doing that.
Okay.
So like for every closing, I send one out to the closing table, right? For 1 year, I call it home anniversary. So after a year of selling, because you get the Facebook pops up. Now I have a CRM that tells me, but like I send them a arrangement say happy 1 year home anniversary.
1 year.
So
wow.
Just stuff like that because it sticks with people. And then they take a picture and they post it.
And they post it and they tag you, and that's free marketing, and it's just makes a lot of sense. And that's super important that you're like sharing all these things. Final thing really wanted to go into a little bit was I know you were involved in the restaurant industry also. Correct. Too. Yep. So like where we have a tech company for the restaurant industry, and restaurants really got hit during COVID, right?
Correct.
And I think you opened this new venture during the end of COVID, was it?
Correct. Yeah.
Or like
when I signed my lease, it was still shut down.
Okay.
Right, and that's why I was able to negotiate a pretty good lease because I think even the landlord thought I was crazy. I was going to this business, but I was starting to feel like it was coming to an end. And just another risk that I take. I love taking risks, and sometimes I shouldn't. But this one, Side Chick per se.
Side Chick, yep. Go check it out.
Thank you. So it was. I kind of wanted to do a kind of just bring something back to Uptown that's kind of fun, cool concept. So I worked with Ninja and Justin Sutherland, and we basically told Justin to kind of put the menu together. And, he was like our chef. I'm like, just do what you want. And to me, there's Justin Sutherland and David Fema. Those two to me are the goats.
The goat
chefs.
Yep. Shout out to Justin. Shout out.
Sure.
Also shout out to Eli too.
Yep. Eli's my guy. Eli is like the definition of hospitality in Minnesota. When you go to FEMA, forget about the vibe and the food. Just the experience that he gives you. He makes you feel like
the tea did the tea thing first. That was lit.
These guys are like best in the business. I respect them and have much love for them. So him and his dad are great. But Justin put a great menu together, and we got so many negative feedback before we opened, because they thought Side Chick was a derogatory name for like women.
Play on word that.
Yeah, but like our menu was chicken and sides.
Yeah, it made sense.
That's why I thought it'd be fun to put Side Chick, like what's chicken and sides. That's all that. That's our all intention was. That's all that would be cool, right?
Right.
Man, I was being dragged through the mud by, these articles and, but again, we stuck with it. We didn't do, I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. Justin, he put his name on it, right? I mean, he had my back as well, and I felt comfortable because I was worried that his brand was going to get affected, but, he handled it. He believed in the product. And then there was an incident outside. It was a drive-by back in August. And one of our servers, got affected and kind of took a big toll on me mentally. I'm not even exaggerating. Probably about a month I couldn't get much sleep.
Wow.
So I decided to kind of step away. And then I sold it to a good friend of mine. His name is Dylan. Young kid right out of, he was a veteran. He's a 24-year-old kid, but he's a veteran. He served 4 years in Hawaii. So he came back, he had saved up some money, he wanted to invest. Sold it to him, and I still help him out. And he's done a pretty good job running it as well, but it's a tough industry still. There's this terrible reputation about Minneapolis, downtown and uptown, that people are trying to stay away of. For incidents like that. But I don't want to go into details when it comes to we tried to hire police off duty outside, and we were giving them a lot of money. Nobody wanted to work.
Wow.
So it's just there's still a lot of separation, and I think the city there's a lot of work need to be put in to bring the city back to where it was.
Especially because Minneapolis, we're pretty good food industry. There's a lot of like hidden restaurants, hidden gems, and people just aren't getting business like that because they're not, people not going out. Correct. People would rather just DoorDash, get it delivered to them.
Correct. I agree. And there's a lot of places that end up closing right because of COVID. And the people that survived, that didn't close, they're dealing with a different, animal now, which is, the reputation that is around downtown and uptown. But, like I said, Side Chick is still doing good.
Yeah.
It's still a great menu. Chef Justin Sutherland is kind of stepped away, ended up selling it. Not for a specific reason. He has a lot going on.
He has a lot. He's doing a TV show.
Yeah.
This guy's doing a show. This guy's doing so much dope stuff.
He has a handsome hog too. So, but again, it's still a great place to be. Great vibe. One of very few places that is very diverse in Uptown. So, and it's to me is the best chicken sandwich in town.
Wow, dope. Yeah, just wrapping up. What would be some advice that you would give? Like one final advice for everybody that's trying to get into real estate. We talked about some of the numbers, so you guys know what's going on. But like someone that's thinking of getting into real estate or they're on the edge right now, what would some advice be?
Take the first step. And don't think you're going to go in and make $1 million the first year. I would say if you consider trying to have a secondary income the first couple of years until you build the brand, and then you'll be able to actually have a consistent business. So the advice is take the first step. Go take the class, because once you're invested and you actually take that step, you would actually commit to it. A lot of people think about it, right? Like, I want to get it, but they don't have actually starting the classes and reach out to me. Like I mean this, like even if you're considering joining another brokerage or even a different state, I literally genuinely love giving advice and help people go a certain way. You don't feel like you need to work with me in order to call me. Like I've still helped people that are different brokerages that call me. How do I do this? And again, it's good karma. You help people and it's going to come back around.
It's going to come back
but,
to you.
I also believe that real estate is going to a different route.
Okay.
I think the metaverse is the future.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that needs a whole different podcast.
Yeah, we gotta come back for that one because that's a whole like 3-hour talk we could talk about all day about the metaverse and stuff.
I'm actually working on getting my license to be able to sell in the metaverse.
Wait. Hold on.
Yeah.
What did you just say?
I'm working to get my license so I can sell in the metaverse because there's currently, they just released it. You can literally, it's a different license than you have in real estate.
That is huge.
Yo, that's like crazy.
That
I
is.
really do.
So like
Virtual
real estate
land.
agents can start selling on the metaverse.
Yep. So you can sell a building, for example, right? You can hold meetings in that building. Like literally, it's all virtual. Yeah, and you own that space.
And you get commission based on the
who uses it.
Yo, this is crazy.
Absolutely.
This is crazy. Because I know someone bought next to Snoop Dogg's house for like $500,000 or something on the metaverse.
Correct.
And like they bought that like so, and I'm pretty sure there isn't too many real estate agents on there. So like you're gonna be.
There isn't anyone in Minnesota yet that I know of.
Oh wow.
There's a lot in Cali and Florida.
Yeah.
Not enough here, but
That's crazy.
yeah. So I'm actually getting my agents to get it as well. That's all we've been working on the last month.
That's crazy. The metaverse. You gonna start.
That's one thing. Like I would also want. Sorry to cut you
No,
off.
take your
but,
time. Take your time.
People, I think a lot of people have learned to not take risks anymore.
Yes.
Like a lot of people like
COVID changed that.
Like Bitcoin, like I wish I got on it. Like NFT, like so people don't want to take the risk not hopping on things. So even myself, I'm like, if even if the metaverse doesn't work, I want to be one of the first people to get on because that's who wins.
Yeah.
Whoever got on Bitcoin first won. Whoever got an NFT first won. Whoever's getting, I feel like who's in the metaverse is gonna win on the long run. So don't think. I thought NFT was the dumbest idea in the world.
Yeah.
You're telling me you're gonna spend $1 million on a picture?
I can
You know what I'm
screenshot.
saying? Right? So exactly. But again, I didn't understand it. Like to me, the NFT is currently like equivalent to the blue check mark on Instagram.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Right? Like you get into these groups and these parties and these, like, and look at everyone. Like Steph Curry, his picture on there is an NFT. Lil Baby, OBJ. Everybody just they're getting into it, and that's you're buying into the lifestyle.
The lifestyle.
I was just looking at those. You get a picture, right?
You get a picture.
But it's really the picture doesn't really mean much. It's owning it what means the most and what it gets you.
And the thing about NFTs, real quick, is it's like on the blockchain forever. So there's a lot of people that are making quick buck from it right now, not understanding they're ruining their reputation. Like there's an NBA player that did something called a rug pull, and I don't want to say the name, but he kind of ruined his reputation for just a few $1,000,000 when his whole career he was going to make over 300 million, So it's like there's a lot of people that are also ruining their name. But the thing about the metaverse is it's on the blockchain forever. It's like you can't hide it. So once you do something, it's up there forever, and you got to be an early adopter. You got to do the research. You got to learn. And one thing that, I really took from this podcast episode, even for me, is, continuing to innovate and educate yourself continuously, like with every new level you reach, you learned enough, but all right, how do you get to the next level? Because every time you hit a new level, you're new again. You got to learn more information. You got to learn, apply, then you hit a new level, and, there's a lot of people that are comfortable with where they're at, but if you're not growing, you're dying. We're never staying the same. You're either going up or you're like slowly declining. And I think the most important thing is always being around other people that are also innovating. So you see, like, okay, they're hopping on the metaverse. All right, let me do that too. Because people follow people they know.
Right. And like I said, what's the worst that could happen? You wasted maybe a little bit of money, a little bit of time, but the reward is a lot bigger.
100%.
Don't think anything is a dumb idea. I learned that the hard way.
Ooh, that's a bar right there.
Yeah, just go for it. What's the worst that could happen?
Damn, that's
the worst
there
thing
you
that
have
could
it.
be the best thing ever.
Yeah,
right.
And you're before we wrap it, you're big on TikTok, right? So tell the people about little TikTok story.
I started on TikTok back in like 2018, where it wasn't nobody really knew about it. I just really enjoyed the app. I wasn't really posting anything. I was just watching his videos, and there was like probably 50,000 at the time. It wasn't a lot of people. And then I started doing my own videos because like I said, I can be myself.
Yes.
I can be dumb. Because I have a kind of a weird sense of humor, not in like a creepy way. Just
It's funny.
I think I'm a lot funnier than I actually am. So I post stuff on there, and it's only people that nobody actually that I knew followed me at the time, because nobody was on it. I didn't know anyone that even knew of TikTok when I did it. So, and we're talking about this earlier, is you make it on TikTok when you make on the For You page. So, there's two columns on TikTok. There's the people that you follow, and they follow you, they can watch your videos. And there's a For You page. That's who TikTok picks to put on there for everybody to see.
Exactly.
So when you make it on there, that's likely people are going to watch your video, they're going to follow you and like it, right? So, and the more you make it on For You page, the more you get on there. Like you basically, sometimes they just automatically put you on the For You page. But I really grew it when COVID hit, when I was at home, and I kind of connected with my daughter on that, because she would enjoy doing videos with me. So, and I just stuck with it, and I just constantly, it's all about, everything in life is about consistency. I was very constant on TikTok, and now they the ad pays you per view. Right? So you get 4 cents per every 1,000 view.
Oh wow!
So which is good, because every million you get like $40. Right?
Yeah.
Now it's not a lot, but if you post few videos a day that go 1 to 2 million, I probably average maybe about 2K a month, right?
That's that's 24K
a
a year just by
I don't post enough. I feel like I need to post a lot more. So it's the only app that Instagram, you get deals and brand deals, but
it's not really nothing exciting. Right?
Like TikTok pays you per view, just like YouTube. So I believe in the app because I've seen a lot of people blow up overnight. It's literally the only app that can make you an overnight celebrity. And look at Charli D'Amelio, the most followed girl on TikTok. I remember the first video she posted, and I mean, she's a cute girl, but there's nothing special about her. And now she's worth like 50 million. Right, just for literally doing some dances on TikTok.
She did like a Dunkin' deal. She's doing big deals.
Mean, she's Prada, she's huge. And like Lil Nas X, they didn't know, nobody knew who Lil Nas before TikTok. And there's so many different artists that are just blowing up off TikTok. So I even tell all the local artists and rappers, get on TikTok. Post, like Jay Plaza, shout out to him. To me, he's one of the best artists in Minnesota. He's constantly on TikTok. He just posted. Russ did you have to kind of
the duet.
And he did it. He got a few million views.
Wow.
That's the only platform that gives you that kind of attention. Because now they follow him on Instagram now. At least other things. Still TikTok, like I said, it's not gonna send me buyers that buy real estate from me, but it's gonna do everything.
Attention.
Else.
It's attention is currency.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But get on TikTok. I tell everybody this, and post. Even if I have some videos that don't get too much attention, but I don't.
The consistency.
Keep posting.
If one out of every 10 videos goes viral, it'll make up for all the other ones that didn't go viral. So get on TikTok. People are not paying attention to TikTok right now, and I honestly think it's still at its early stage. It's still getting to the point where a lot of people are hopping on now, but now it's the algorithm. It's still not for instance, Instagram, only 10% of your followers actually see your post.
Correct.
Facebook, even lower. I think this is the first year Facebook's users declined in the 17 years it's been out. This is the first year that it declined.
That's interesting.
Why is that? Because everybody's hopping on TikTok. TikTok went from being a kid's app to even grandmas. I see these grandpas on there
for sure.
Dancing. It's now it's yo, okay, if grandpas are hopping on now and kids, it's not just a kids app anymore. It's for everybody.
Everyone.
You know?
And people are doing it for different reasons too. Like, you know, some marketing, something like it's literally the most diverse platforms. And I feel like it's only going to grow.
It's only going to grow. So if you're not on TikTok and you're making the excuse of saying it's for kids, you're just making an excuse. You know, it's not for you. So Jado, man, we appreciate you dropping all this game. Let the people know where they can find you, your socials, your email, everything.
Absolutely.
Let them know.
You know, my handle is all the same. I know Jado, Instagram and TikTok, and Facebook, Jado Hark. I also have the Jado Hark Realtor, specific for real estate. My website is www.jadorealtor.com.
Okay.
Or, you know, my elite agency is www.eliteagencymn.com in Minnesota. Twitter, same thing. I know Jado. So,
okay.
Like
that's
I said,
easy.
reach out.
Yeah, I know Jado.
For sure.
Yep.
Text me, call me. You know, if I DM me, I respond to everyone. So
That's super important. Yeah. And he's definitely going to respond to all of you guys. Any real estate questions, any franchise questions, anything you have, hit him up. Make sure y'all follow him, though. That's a big favor we want y'all to do. Make sure y'all follow him, like his post, comment, be engaged. So, yeah, appreciate you guys for coming on with us. This podcast is brought to you by the Daily Meetup, the only organization that meets up every single morning, Monday to Friday, for an hour where we hold you accountable. You're going to be on a call with us every single morning for an hour. We hold each other accountable. We do what book are we reading right now?
Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich. We already read 2 books and the program's been out for only a month, right? You could try it for $1. If you don't like it, you leave. If you like it, you're going to stay. You're more than likely going to stay. So go to thedailymeetup.com. Again, that's thedailymeetup.com, and I'll see you in the morning. Thank you guys. We are out.
thank you guys. Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.